Hello everybody and welcome to another SyncApps Walkthrough Wednesdays. And for this week, we will be talking about how to map your Zoho CRM potentials to Mailchimp with SyncApps. So I'm Joanna and I'll be your host for today. And please be minded that this webinar is currently being recorded for post-marketing purposes only. Also, our support team is in our chat room, so if you need any questions, please feel free to chat over the chat box and they can answer your questions for you. So, to start, here's our agenda for today. Firstly, I'll be talking to you about Zoho CRM to Mailchimp integration with SyncApps. Next, a little overview of Zoho CRM potentials. Next, how it works, how to integrate your Zoho CRM potentials with SyncApps. And of course, I'll be talking to you about the advantages on why you should integrate your potentials from Zoho to Mailchimp with SyncApps. And the last portion of this webinar is a question and answer portion wherein you can feel free to ask any questions that you might have by the end of this webinar. So how does SyncApps integrate your Zoho CRM to Mailchimp? I have here a quick video on how you can basically integrate using SyncApps.
Meet John. John owns a fast-growing e-commerce small business. John is having trouble figuring out his integration strategy to connect all of his business software which his company uses today. The average business wastes 2 hours per week on manual data issues between different systems, and John is no exception. Spending time working on integration is taking him away from building and improving his business. Then he discovered SyncApps by Cazoomi. SyncApps makes bidirectional data integration simple. All your business data is synced between apps without hours of data entry or tracking down your colleagues, freeing up John's time to focus on sales efforts, thus driving more revenue down to the bottom line. With SyncApps, John can seamlessly integrate his thriving e-commerce business with his CRM, financials, marketing, support, and other mission-critical applications which support his business daily. He has finally found a solution which can tie together his customer information with his marketing solution for driving sales on his e-commerce website. He is super excited to get started. However, John owns a small business and he was worried about expenses. Luckily, he has discovered that SyncApps are a fraction of the cost of other solutions he tried out, yet have the same robust features, functionality, and come with exceptional customer service. They have unlimited data integration as well, and 24/7 support for all plans, so John can get help whenever he needs it. Integrate the software that runs your business.
So the major features that SyncApps support for our Zoho to Mailchimp integration are as follows. So firstly, you can sync all of your Zoho CRM contacts and even leads to Mailchimp master lists. You can also sync the specific campaigns from Zoho to even your Mailchimp groups or even tags. You could also seamlessly integrate your Mailchimp contact rating back to your CRM records in Zoho. Next, you can even filter and sync only those records that you want from your CRM to your Mailchimp automation. You can also sync those automatically opt-outs from Mailchimp to Zoho, and you can even bring back your email campaign metrics from Mailchimp to your Zoho CRM campaigns. Lastly, you could also integrate some custom field mapping between both of your systems. So how does the Zoho CRM to Mailchimp basically works? So firstly, SyncApps take your Zoho contacts, leads, or accounts and syncs them over to your Mailchimp lists or groups or even tags. You can then send out email campaigns to those specific lists that you have from Mailchimp, and you can sync back your campaign responses to your Zoho CRM app. This is how seamless integration with SyncApps does work for your Zoho to Mailchimp integration. So what do you need to know about Zoho CRM potentials? Zoho CRM potentials are also known as deals, and they refer to the number of sales opportunities or deals made from your CRM contacts. These are highly considered as the sales windows that you need to keep an eye for. Basically, the potentials are what makes your sales revenue very important for your business. So in any sales organization, potentials are the most important records to generate the real revenue for your organization. So how do you integrate your Zoho CRM with SyncApps in just a few steps? So in here, I have my potentials in Zoho CRM account. So as I said earlier, potentials are also called as deals in Zoho. So right now, I have all of these potentials in my Zoho CRM account. I have my deal name, I have the amount, I even have the stage of that potential, and the closing date, as well as the account name, which is, of course, referred to as the contact name of that particular potential. So I want to sync this potential to my Mailchimp account. How do I do that with SyncApps? It's very easy. All you have to do is, of course, go to your pre-set up sync profile for Zoho CRM to Mailchimp and just enable a very specific checkbox in step 1 of your sync profile. So if you scroll down below, we have a checkbox field called Retrieve Contact or Account Potentials. If you hover over the green eye tooltip, some sync notes are available for more information about that checkbox field. So what this will do is we can retrieve your potentials from Zoho CRM of your contacts or even your accounts. After having that checkbox or feature enabled in step 1 of your sync profile, we can hit Next. So over here in step 2 of your sync profile, all you need to do is input your sync master list. Now this master list must be the list already existing in your Mailchimp account. Next, you can use any segmentation that you'd like. You can use your groups or even your tags. And if you're using your Mailchimp groups, which I am using for my demo today, I'll be creating a group title to use. So I'm going to be naming my group as Zoho CRM, but my list will be under Joanna SyncApps Tests. So let's just hit Next again. And we can now skip our sync add-ons for, we don't need any add-ons for this feature. So now that we are on step 4 of our sync profile, in here we will be enabling or customizing and adding our custom fields for integration. So I'm going to start by selecting my Zoho CRM field, which is of course found in my Zoho CRM account. So if we open up an example in here, so I would need all of these or the important or the necessary fields that I need from Zoho to my Mailchimp account. So I'm going to be integrating my amount, my deal name, the closing date, the type, and even the stage. So all of those fields you can actually enable and map that out in with SyncApps. So of course, going back to SyncApps, just select the specific Zoho CRM field And you must choose the potential fields available in your Zoho CRM fields. So let's say last potential is stage. Next, I'm going to be mapping that to a Mailchimp field. If you don't have that Mailchimp field yet, you can always feel free to edit or add some custom fields in your Mailchimp account. So going back to Mailchimp, just go to that specific list that you have specified in step 2 of your sync profile. This is actually very important. So if you are on that specific list, just go to your settings and go to list fields and merge tags. Now in here you can add as many fields as you'd like, but for my demo purpose for today, I have already set up my account name, the stage, the closing date, and the amount. So all of these 4 fields are actually from the Zoho CRM potential. So going back over in step 4 of my sync profile, my stage from Zoho is equivalent to our stage here in Mailchimp. So it is also important to note that you must name your merge tag value over in Mailchimp for each field that you create or each custom field that you create in your Mailchimp settings. So let's just save the changes. And if that field does not appear in the drop down below, please feel free to hit refresh field so that SyncApps could refresh your newly added fields in your SyncApps configuration. Okay. So now I have already mapped out my 4 fields, the account name, amount, the closing date, and the stage from Zoho to Mailchimp. I could then hit next. So you can feel free to add as many custom fields as you'd like for your potentials field mapping. So over here in step 5, for testing out purposes, I'll be enabling our filtering and segmentation feature. Because I want to try out and test one email, I'll be using a filter criteria, which is email is equal to joanna@cazoomi.com. What this will do is SyncApps will only sync this email or this contact from Zoho into Mailchimp. So this is just for testing out purposes only. Oop, I'm sorry, we got back there. Okay. So for your testing out purposes, you could also try out specifying your specific email here and just see if that email has been successfully integrated into your Mailchimp list. So if we hit next again, we are on to our last and final step, which is sync scheduling. And for this one, I'll just have it on a fixed interval. So if we hit finish, we can then run our integration and see if that has been successfully integrated over to Mailchimp. So that is how easy it is to set up your Zoho CRM potentials field mapping from Zoho to Mailchimp with the use of course, SyncApps. So it might take a few minutes depending on the number of data. So successfully, we have now integrated our Zoho contact into Mailchimp. So if we go back here in Mailchimp, hit refresh. We can then see our contacts from Zoho to Mailchimp. So if we go to that specific contact on the potentials, I already successfully integrated my own email address together with all of the details that I need for my potentials. So if we view that specific contact, we can then see in the profile information that all of the potential information have been successfully integrated over. So that is how easy it is to integrate your Zoho CRM potentials using SyncApps. So what are the advantages of integrating your Zoho CRM potentials? What does syncing your potentials bring to your business? So firstly, if you have successfully integrated your potentials over from Zoho to Mailchimp, you can then create different segments in your Mailchimp depending on the status of your potential. Secondly, you can then send out targeted email campaigns based on your potential status. So let's say the status of your potential is it's still at qualifying. You can send out a target email campaign just for those potential emails or potential contacts that you have. If those potentials are already at the closing stage and you can win those potentials and mark them as sales for your company, then you can even send out a targeted email campaign based on that potential status as well. So thirdly, with this type of email campaign and integrating or working with your potentials or your contacts, you can win more potentials to boost your sales for your business. So the SyncApps advantage for integrating your data is, of course, first, we save you the time. So the average business wastes 2 hours per week on manual data issues between different systems. So with SyncApps, we can focus on your sales and let SyncApps do the integration of your data for you. Next, we also sync your data bidirectionally, seamlessly, and limitless. So with Cazoomi, you can seamlessly integrate all of your Zoho to Mailchimp with SyncApps. And of course, lastly, we allow you to stay productive. So when you use your Zoho and your Mailchimp account, you have probably wasted over 13 days each year in manual efforts, and that is very prone to user error. So integrate now with SyncApps. Try out our Zoho CRM and Mailchimp integration, and even further integrate your Zoho CRM potentials with the power of SyncApps. So now it's time for our question and answer portion. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us through the chat box, and we will be happy to answer them for you. So I believe there are no questions from the attendees. So this wraps up our Walkthrough Wednesday series for this Wednesday. I really thank you all for coming to our another Walkthrough Wednesday, and I hope that you have a great day ahead. So this is Joanna, and I will hope to see you again next time.